Hopefully this is the final video in the sections for this case of child abuse within the care system. The second case conference was held in the summer of 2004. At this conference, the mother was unable to have a lawyer attend, so she chose to say that she wouldn't be answering any questions as she didn't have a lawyer present. In this case conference, the chair said that she may wish for the mother to be psychiatrically assessed. I asked for her justification of why she felt the mother needed psychiatric assessment, to which she responded in telling me that she could also ask for my assessment too. In the decision sheet following this case conference, they had actually written that they wanted the whole family psychiatrically assessed, me included. So I went to get myself a lawyer, and apparently by law they are entitled to insist on this, but by law we are entitled to request the letter of instruction that goes to the psychiatrist regarding our referral. Our lawyers, both our lawyers requested this, but the information never was sent to the lawyer. In this case conference, the chair also was saying, well, we want to find a way forward. We need to speak to the children alone. The mother told her that no, you wouldn't be speaking to the children alone until the child had been examined properly for sexual abuse by a doctor. The chair informed the mother that no, this would never happen, and that she couldn't make bargains and deals with them on how she would want things to progress. Also in the decision sheet, they wrote after that they had agreed for the child to be seen by a paediatrician, but this turned out to be just a game really, where they required the mother to write to the doctor requesting what she wanted, which she did, but it was all hoops. Because the doctor didn't respond back saying what the examination, what they would be seeing the child for, the mother didn't take the child to an appointment, and therefore the next meeting it was decided that the children were no longer on the register for being at risk of emotional abuse, but now were to be put on the register for a risk because of neglect, because we didn't attend that appointment. The social workers didn't really come round in 2005, other than the social worker would come a few times, but it was like a repeat, that each time she would come and ask us to go to our local GP and ask that he refers us for psychiatric assessment, and we would inform her, no, we don't actually want the psychiatric assessment, and so no, we won't be going to our own GP requesting this, and therefore they'd write in their papers, social services, that we were refusing psychiatric assessment, which wasn't the case, and they was never writing to our lawyers saying that what the letter of instruction would be for the psychiatrist to assess us. So no social workers came towards the end of 2004. January 2005, we had police knock at the door. The mother answered at the window, and the police asked could they come in and ask a few questions. She said no, it wasn't convenient because we were just about to eat our dinner. She went to shut the window, but the police officer was holding onto the window tight, wouldn't let go. So she left him with the window and went to serve our dinner. We took our food upstairs. We had a table upstairs, and we took it up there because I had a bad back so that I could lie down whilst we ate. Within about 10-15 minutes, the police were coming up the stairs. They'd obviously climbed in through the window, disconnected our CCTV cameras, and came in to ask questions. They asked could they speak to us separately, to which the mother said no, they'd need to talk to us as a whole family, or no, we wouldn't be answering any other questions. The police started by saying that social services were concerned because they hadn't seen the children for a few months. We told them yes, because they hadn't arranged to come. There was no problem for them to come and see the children. They then continued on to say, well, the children haven't been seen by doctors for a long while, and we pointed out that the children wasn't ill. Then they continued and said that the children hadn't been to school for a while either. And again, we informed them that we home educated the children. The two social workers that were present here were fully aware of our case. They were our social workers, but they didn't inform the police of why this misunderstanding was occurring. They questioned all of us. The police searched the rest of our house. I don't know what they was actually looking for. And then on completion, the detective filled out a form and that had like carbon copies saying that this was the search warrant. So you fill that out after they've searched the house. And then they left. No record of this ever appeared on any case conference report, any statement written by social workers and so forth. It appears that the child was never actually going to get an examination. The mother's lawyer suggested that maybe a different way to go about it was to write a complaint to the local council, and when they refused, then she could take it to court for a judicial hearing, because all along each body had been threatening to go to court, go to court, go to court. And in a sense, the mother felt, well, maybe we should go to court, because then maybe a judge could hear this case and hear her where she is not being heard. And so that was seen as the way forward. It didn't actually go that way, because after she wrote the complaint, the local council just ignored it. So she then went on to complain to the local ombudsman that they'd ignored her complaint. He said that she needed to give them 3 months to deal with it, and so that's what she did. The social services manager that was dealing with our case, then after 3 months responded with a letter that had much misinformation in it. So the mother had to write to the ombudsman and back to the social worker saying that there was misinformation in that letter. The complaint continued on all the way up to the chief executive for the borough, and went nowhere really. In May 2005, the next case conference was held. But at this time, the mother wrote a statement saying that she wouldn't be attending this case conference because she'd spent so many times attending the conferences and no one was actually listening to what she was saying. They were misconstruing what she was saying. They were treating her as if she was mentally ill. And so her words wasn't being heard. And so she couldn't see actually a point in attending the meeting. So she didn't. So none of us attended the case conference. But at that case conference, the decision sheet showed that they'd made a decision to take the children off of the register now, and because they reported that the children seemed very happy. And also on that register, on that decision sheet, they had written that they would make an appointment for the child to see a paediatrician, but they wouldn't be following the case further on from that. The rest would be down to the mother. So the children would be registered from Child Protection in 2005. July 2005, the social worker actually wrote to the mother saying that she was liaising with the paediatrician and would be informing us of the decisions made when she attended for a home visit shortly. She arrived for the home visit and said that the mother needed to write to the doctor requesting what she wanted the doctor to actually see the child for, which the mother did. The appointment never happened, And so she told the local ombudsman who was dealing with the case, and he referred this on to the Social Services Complaints Department. And they wrote to the mother saying that they wanted to investigate, and the letter had a crime number on it. But the mother wrote back to them saying that she would like the case investigated, but firstly she'd like the child to be examined, and that would help them with their investigation to get a complete picture anyway. And the investigation she only saw as secondary. So she forwarded the CC copy onto the local ombudsman too. 2006 January, she received a letter from the ombudsman saying that he would no longer be writing to her as until after a paediatric examination. If after a paediatric examination she wanted him to investigate further, he would deal with it. But he recommended that she went to a local GP to get the appointment for the paediatric examination. This she did, and with many obstacles, eventually the local GP referred her to a paediatrician. Although she requested that the paediatrician examine the child for sexual abuse, the paediatrician didn't. We went to the appointment. The paediatrician just glanced really at the skin discoloration and said that she needed to think about it. She wasn't sure whether it was a vitiligo or caused by an inflammatory infection, and she would think and then write to the mother once she'd decided. Even though the mother asked her to examine for sexual abuse, that went over her head, and therefore she asked her could she refer her to a skin specialist. She agreed to, and later the child was taken to a skin specialist for examination. At the skin specialist, the conduct was very unprofessional, not even asking the child her name. She asked the child, right, take your knickers off. She had a look quickly at the area and said, oh, vitiligo. The mother asked, could that be caused by sexual abuse? To which the doctor became quite agitated and said to the child, has anyone touched you there? To which the child responded, yes. And then information was given as to whom, and the doctor stormed out the room. She went and got another doctor, who was apparently a consultant and skin specialist too, and asked her, is that vitiligo? She agreed it was. We again asked this doctor, could that be caused by sexual abuse? To which the first doctor became very angry and said, you're trying to get me to say it was caused by sexual abuse. I'm not going to say that. Pushed the mother out of the way and left the room. We were left really looking perplexed. What do we do? So eventually we just left the hospital. But in later reports on what happened, you can see that the doctor wrote something completely different in her notes. Because this led to nowhere, the mother decided to write to the GMC and complain about the experiences she was having with the health professionals. GMC is a General Medical Council. She outlined the case to them, and she got a response back from them saying that they only deal with the serious allegations, and therefore they'd forwarded her complaint on to each of the health authorities involved in the case and requested that they inform them of the results after their investigations. Still today, some of them haven't responded to that request. We can guess who. The doctor, who the police say was a paediatrician, who first examined the child and said there was no abnormalities, he hasn't responded. The local GP, my local GP, who examined the child and was disgusted by what she saw, she hasn't responded. And also the doctor who examined the child and wrote in his notes hyperpigmentation, he hasn't responded. So it's never really completely finished, that investigation. The doctor, the skin specialist who stormed out of the room, actually changed her notes and said that the mother pushed her, and the mother, well, we all stormed out of the room from her, which we wouldn't have done. So the mother forwarded on all information that she got from the health authorities regarding her complaint back to, sent it back to the investigating officer who was dealing with the complaints of the GMC. But she wrote to the mother saying that she wouldn't be writing to her anymore unless the health authorities involved did find a doctor that was unfit for practice. And she added that the mother if the mother wasn't satisfied with the response that she got, she could complain to the health commissioner. So the health complaint system failed really to help. But obviously now that we've got the doctor that's saying that the child's skin is a different colour, then obviously there's a discrepancy because some doctors have said there isn't and some say there is. So therefore, if you couldn't get the child to be examined for sexual abuse, even though that's gone on, the mother felt maybe a lawyer would be able to take on social services on grounds of neglect, and then this could get the child examined. So she proceeded and found a lawyer to deal with taking the case on for neglect. He found one. He agreed to take it on. He said he needed the medical records, which he was given, and he needed permission from the mother for the files from other lawyers to be sent to him. She signed and agreed for this. He wrote and said that he'd received one of the files from one of the lawyers and he would read them and then proceed to contact the mother and see a way forward. But he never did. But a year later, in 2008, he sent the files back and said, I've returned the files because he hadn't heard from the mother, and he wouldn't be doing any more unless he got directed to do so by the mother. So, lawyers not helping, police not helping, health professionals not helping, social services not helping, education not helping, the Ombudsman not helping, Tony Blair, no, David Blunkett, no, MI5, no, and with the newspaper they can't actually cover anything without evidence, so the newspapers can't deal with it either. So what I'm left with is that I am telling you, the public, via the internet, that this case happened. I'm sure it's happening elsewhere too, and yes, no one continued to harass the family no more because they were taken off the register, or only education would come for visits, and they were quite happy with the children's education standards, so no problems there. But it's still an injustice that's happened and it's happening, and I thank you all for listening.